Carl Sandburg adored his grandchildren, John Carl and his younger sister Paula. They lived at Connemara for 7 years, beginning when Paula was 2.5.
I know that my grandparents would be so pleased and so delighted with what the National Park Service has done to reach out to both adults and children at the park in so many different and meaningful ways through explorations of literature and song and nature and farm life. These many events and activities and projects would simply not be possible without the extraordinary volunteers that come to Connemara every day, many of whom belong to the Friends of Carl Sandburg at Connemara.
Carl and Lillian Sandburg, their 3 daughters and 2 grandchildren, moved to the 250-acre estate in Flat Rock, North Carolina in 1945, and it is where the 2-time Pulitzer Prize-winning author spent the last 22 years of his life. He was one of the nation's most accomplished writers, whose poems, biographies, nonfiction works, children's stories, and fiction have delighted readers for a century. He was also a lifelong advocate for civil rights and worked to improve the lives of working men and women. Lillian Sandburg supported her husband in many ways, but she had her own career. A graduate of the University of Chicago, she raised goats to show their milk had health benefits. The commercial dairy at Connemara that she managed had as many as 200 goats. Visitors today can see descendants of Lillian's herd. After her husband died, Mrs. Sandburg sold the property to the National Park Service and donated the home's contents. Connemara is a place to learn, but also a place to explore with 5 miles of trails. The Sandburg family often hiked to the top of Big Glassy Mountain. The Sandburg National Historic Site has a great staff, but there is never enough funding from the National Park Service for programs and upkeep. That's why for more than 25 years, the Friends of Carl Sandburg at Connemara have provided vital support. Greg Brown is the president of the Friends.
Most of the national parks or national park units in the country have a Friends group, and they are volunteers. In some cases, they actually work on site. Here at the Carl Sandburg home, they have volunteers, and they work directly with the Park Service itself. The Friends, our responsibility primarily, or our mission primarily, is to raise funds to support projects at the Carl Sandburg home.
The Friends are governed by a board of directors who are all volunteers. They meet every month and have no staff. There are many issues to confront, including how to increase fundraising, membership, volunteers, and which grants to apply for. The Friends have found creative ways to raise money and visibility. At the Flat Rock Ice Cream Social, the Friends brought 2 young goats to the village hall so people could buy a raffle ticket to give one a name. It was one of the few times that any of the Sandburg goats had appeared at a community event. At Family Fun Day at the park at Flat Rock, the Friends sold books that had belonged to the Sandburg family, and t-shirts and hats. The Friends also sponsored Carl Sandbear, one of the bears that lined Main Street in Hendersonville during the summer, and then were sold at the Barefootin' Art Walk auction in October.
Sold, $42.50, number 25. Thank you so much.
Every other year, the Friends host a hobo ball in honor of Carl Sandburg's hobo days when he was young. The ball raises money that goes for programs at the park. Since 2012, Tyrone Brandyberg has been the Park Service superintendent at the Sandburg home.
The Friends of Carl Sandburg are an asset to this community as well as an asset to the park. We love the partnership that we have developed, and we love to continue that partnership. And we always love for more people to come and join the Friends of Carl Sandburg because, again, you get sort of a behind-the-scenes look at the park as well as an opportunity to do something for our community through the National Park Service.
The Friends support a variety of programs, including the Writer-in-Residence and the Student Poetry Contest. At Jump into the Park, there was music, gardening help, and children learned how to make cheese. The Friends help pay for the purchase and transportation of goats, sponsor internships, and provide funds for maintenance, including repair of trails and fences. The Park Service and the Friends have big plans for the future, including a proposed amphitheater to replace the current one near the home that has limited seating and requires a long walk up a hill to reach. The $800,000 amphitheater would be located in the woods near the parking lot. It would not only host events related to the Sandburg home, but would also be a venue for the community to use. The Park Service and Friends are hoping to raise the money needed to build it. Although much is known about the Sandburg family, the recollections of a family member are so important. Paula was living at the home and riding Mike Connemara when her grandfather passed away in 1967 at age 89. She knows how important the volunteers are.
Many of these people, I think, even feel that Connemara is their home as much as my family felt that it was our wonderful home when we lived there. And there is just no way to overvalue the energy and time and love that these volunteers have invested in Connemara. They are the support people, the support staff, and also the family that helps to make this extraordinary National Historic Site what it is today. My grandfather's poem, Joy. Let a joy keep you. Reach out your hands and take it when it runs by, as the Apache dancer clutches his woman. I have seen them live long and laugh loud, sent on singing, singing, smashed to the heart under the ribs with a terrible love. Joy always, joy everywhere. Let joy kill you. Keep away from the little deaths.